The year 1964 marked a critical turning point in the civil rights movement in America. This year was defined by the passage of the landmark Civil Rights Act, which represented a comprehensive federal effort to address racial discrimination and promote equality. To understand the significance of 1964, we must first look back to 1954 and the Supreme Court's decision in Brown v. Board of Education. This ruling declared that racial segregation in public schools was unconstitutional, overturning the separate but equal doctrine established in Plessy v. Ferguson nearly 60 years earlier. Building on this foundation, 1964 brought the Civil Rights Act, signed into law by President Lyndon B. Johnson. This comprehensive legislation outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin in several key areas of American life. The act specifically addressed discrimination in employment, prohibiting employers from denying jobs or promotions based on protected characteristics. It also covered public accommodations, ensuring that businesses open to the public could not discriminate against customers. Additionally, it strengthened protections in education, building on the Brown decision to promote equal access to learning opportunities. Together, these legislative and judicial actions created a framework for addressing systemic discrimination and advancing civil rights. The year 1964 stands as a pivotal moment that transformed the legal landscape and continued the ongoing struggle for equality in the United States. The Supreme Court played a crucial role in advancing civil rights through landmark decisions that challenged segregation and discrimination in education and justice. In 1896, Plessy v. Ferguson established the separate but equal doctrine, allowing segregation in public facilities. This was reversed in 1954 by Brown v. Board of Education, which declared school segregation unconstitutional and ended the legal basis for separate schools. In 1950, Sweat v. Painter challenged segregation in higher education. The case involved Heman Marion Sweat, who was denied admission to the University of Texas Law School because of his race. The Supreme Court ruled that separate facilities for Black students were inherently unequal. Also in 1954, Hernandez v. Texas addressed discrimination in the justice system. The case involved Pete Hernandez, a Mexican-American man convicted of murder whose jury excluded people of Mexican descent. The Supreme Court ruled that such exclusion violated the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. These Supreme Court victories were pivotal in the broader fight for equal rights. They dismantled legal barriers to equality in education and justice, paving the way for further civil rights advancements and demonstrating the court's power to enforce constitutional protections. Civil rights activists, led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., embraced nonviolent protest as a powerful tool for change. King drew inspiration from Mahatma Gandhi and Christian teachings, believing that nonviolence could expose injustice and win public sympathy. King distinguished between just and unjust laws. A just law aligns with moral law and uplifts human dignity. An unjust law degrades human personality and is out of harmony with moral law. Civil disobedience involves willingly breaking unjust laws to bring about their change. Activists used powerful nonviolent tactics. Sit-ins at segregated lunch counters challenged segregation directly. The Montgomery bus boycott, sparked by Rosa Parks, lasted 381 days and led to desegregation. The March on Washington in 1963 drew 250,000 people and led to the Civil Rights Act. These tactics were highly effective. They garnered national attention, pressured federal government intervention, and led to landmark legislation like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and Voting Rights Act of 1965. However, activists faced brutal violence from segregationists, including beatings and bombings. Their courage and determination inspired millions and advanced the cause of equality. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 was a landmark piece of legislation that prohibited racial discrimination in voting. It outlawed discriminatory voting practices such as literacy tests and required federal oversight in areas with a history of discrimination. The 24th Amendment, ratified in 1964, banned poll taxes in federal elections. Poll taxes had been used to disenfranchise poor and minority voters by requiring payment to vote. This amendment removed a significant economic barrier to political participation. In 1966, the Black Panther Party emerged as a more assertive approach to civil rights advocacy. Founded in Oakland, California, the group emphasized self-defense, community programs, and militant resistance against police brutality and systemic racism. These milestones significantly contributed to a more equitable society by enfranchising millions of African American voters and reducing barriers to political participation. However, challenges persist, including voter suppression efforts, economic inequality, and the need for continued advocacy for full equality and justice.